Division 1 ladies! Yeah, we got quite a little bit of Division 1 lately. We have our best of 3 series in our hands today with the Sure Buddies, which sounds a little bit like a meme or like an inside joke or something that I'm not really privy to, but they go up against Team Hype, who have done pretty well for themselves, especially in the last season of Heroes Lounge. So on the left side, we have Be Right Back soaking on Sonya. We'll see how much soaking Sonya is going to do here. Jolly the Psych on Deckard Cain, the Dark Wolf on Muradin, the Octa on Falstad, and Zero on Sylvanas. And Team Hype on our first map in the best of 3 series with Nox on Andern, Halcyon on ETC, Madron on Chromie, Blank on Zool, and Lopka on Zeratul. Okay, so it's Towers of Doom time here in game number 1. And time for some action between the boys and girls here with another Deep Breathing or Dragon's Breath build for Chromie. And also on the side of Zool, we have Shade as the level 1 talent and Move Unseen for Zeratul. Now, we've seen that talent a couple of times, but it's not really the standard build for the hero by any means. So let's see if he deviates away from the typical build even more as the game continues. So that's going to be the most of it. He's going to try to sneak around there a little bit more, and a bit of action at the bottom of the map right away, as obviously with the 1 minute mark approaching, the camps are going to spawn soon, and then I'm going to see a bit more action over those mercenaries. Whereas in the middle of the map, Blank is already having a little bit of trouble, but gets a bit of an assistance from Zeratul, and that puts Be Right Back soaking in trouble, and that's the first blood right there. Be Right Back Dead would also have been an appropriate name, apparently. First one to go down, first blood, and now the invade, of course. So, yeah, with Sonya dead, all of a sudden, the team in red has a chance to make a play here. And letting this one leash on the other hand, but they could still try to take it, especially if they are able to take him down, but Dark Wolf gets away. It was a close call here, but he is able to escape. Now, they're still pinging the camps, and Chromie is the only one starting to attack here. Of course, by now it's another 5 versus 5 on the map, and they haven't really capitalized on the fact that they were able to take Sonya out. If they would have moved in for this one a little bit sooner, I think they could have forced a 4 versus 3 fight over it and taken the camp away. But instead, they're playing this a little bit more safe, a little bit slower, and are just focusing on their own pumpkins here, which we're seeing right now. And on the left side, there's still the option to make a play for camp number 2. Yeah, okay, Dark Wolf again with a jump out. This time he might actually be in trouble, gets isolated, and he is in a whole world of pain now. Down goes Muradin, the man with the beard gets dropped. We got the level 4 talents, Possession for Sylvanas, the Ruby for Deckard Cain. And the camp is about to be taken out now too, as Lopaka is finally making the move onto the camp with the rest of the team. And that's a double pumpkin. It's a great start for Team Hype. They're looking great here in the early stages. 2 kills against 0, and also good control on the mercenaries. Good for them. Now we have top side, our first 2 altars spawning, with the third one at the bottom of the map, obviously. Falstad hasn't made a choice yet on his level 4 talent, which is a little bit weird, honestly. Because if you're trying to be on one of the side lanes, then getting hammer gains is helping you a lot. And if not, then you want to go for the talent that he has chosen now, the Static Shield. And that helps you a little bit earlier too. Sonya with the Hurricane is breaking out of the prison, is moving away from this one. Top left, top right, as usually get channeled from one team each. And just as I say it turns out that with 8 shots already fired, nobody has bothered to take this one. What is the team doing? Never go full NA, baby. You don't want to lose this 40-0, so take at least one of your altars. So they're now starting to slowly make their way over, but there's still a chance that they're going to get a little bit more delayed. And if the delay is enough to bring the red team to level 7, they might just have a chance to take this one after all. Falstad is the one to now move in for it, but the Octa has to be careful too, because Zool is already around and is trying to sneak it in now. Sylvanas is at the bottom of the map, and level 7 is approaching fast. This could be really an issue, especially with Falstad already getting poked down by Chromie. Has to fly over, alright. Nice seal from Deckard Cain though, and here comes Sonya. The slide saves Blank on Zool as Sonya kept coming with the spear. But here's the lockdown. Sylvana still at the bottom of the map and says like, boys, just keep them away. Level 7 talents are ready for both teams now. The Warp Skirmisher has been played by Zeratul, and they're still fighting this out. With Zul being the one who says like, alright boys, I got enough, and moves down to the bottom of the map to make sure that Sylvanas doesn't get sick value on this one. But it's a mad delay on those altars. This is really going to delay the entire setup as is. So we're gonna look at potentially a long game, or at least not as many altars as usually spawning over here. So now that we have pretty much both teams solidifying their presence on each lane, so that they again can get the experience, we also have with level 7 talents Boomerang ignored once more. This is like a trend recently in Division 1 that I really don't like. I mean, if watching the top level teams tells you anything in the last couple of years in Heroes of the Storm, then it's the importance of having Boomerang as your level 7 talent. And it's honestly a little bit concerning how many Falstad players lately on the lower levels, and even in Division 1, are starting to ignore that and just don't take the hint here. So that takes a lot of the side lane value that Falstad will have later on in the game as the map opens up away from them. And the whole aspect of why you play a global is a bit diminished here. But as all of this starts, Chromia, of course, now also has her level 10 ability. Keep in mind, again, this is on the patch with Gladiator's Medallion. And if you haven't really heard anything about this, it's Blizzard's new fancy idea of what a Nexus anomaly could be. So they pretty much gave every single hero a self-cleanse. Well, not technically true, there's always a couple of nitpickers around. It's an unstoppable that they can use. Obviously, you can't cleanse a stun out after you've been stunned already. Even that didn't help Falstad here though, so he goes down, and they get the kill on Muradin, so that's 4 kills to 0. But yeah, with the Gladiator's Medallion, you have now, every hero has now an ability or an extra activatable that makes him unstoppable for a short period of time, and the cooldown on that bad boy is 5 minutes, so it makes CC chains a lot less impactful, and you really have to play around it a bit. As we've already said in the past, the top players and pretty much the people that know how to play the game don't really like it at all, think that it's a really bad idea, have pretty much already hold that opinion during the beta test, or well, the PTR test, the PTR server. But now that the ability is in the game too, you see more and more people just speaking out against it and just saying like, yeah, that was not really a great idea. What exactly were they thinking they would accomplish with this? Either way, we don't actually have an indicator in the UI for it right now. I've been going over this in the past two. Here it is. Gladiator's Medallion just has been used. Was used to dodge out on Chromie's damage. Oh, shots are fired here already. Or Chromie's ult. But we don't have the observer interface for it just yet. Again, it's in the works, and hopefully soon TM we're going to have that reflected, because as you can imagine, some of the fights that you will see are heavily impacted by it, and sometimes teams will now intentionally delay an attack because they're going to try and wait for the Medallion cooldown to come online for everybody. But, well, as this game continues, we still have the blue team being able to stay in experience range. And thanks also to the altar that they just took, at least that helps a little bit. That was the one to the top left. So finally, now after 7.5 minutes, we have the first 3 altars completed. Took a long time, as you can tell. But with the push power at the bottom of the map, it seems like Team Hype is getting a bit ahead here. Now, the kills are obviously in their favor, but that doesn't really help you a whole lot if you are not able to use it to an advantage by taking down structures and getting ahead on other parts of all of this. But right now, we currently have another hit coming in. That's at least a bit of an attempt of the Dark Wolf to get a stun and a bit of follow-up. But it seems like Zeratul has a hard-on for Falstad again and is going for him. And there's the kill. Question, of course, is can he get away? And it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. He uses the Gladiator's Medallion. But he falls too. The problem is that Sonya died in the meantime, because she was pretty much left alone against the rest of the team here, so that didn't help her. And this is now a 4 versus 3 on the map, with Muradin even being in more trouble. Interrupted, has to pop the ult as they are trying to save their camp. But this is starting to become a little bit problematic. I mean, honestly, it's surprising to me that the blue team is just willing to walk away from this one. They can really focus on Muradin again, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Falstad is flying in, trying to make the play for it. Still has the Gust available, so he could use that, but Blind comes in with the Poison Nova, and that's already a lot of damage. Muradin starting to be a little bit low on mana, and the problem is that he's also taking a lot of damage over time here from Zul, and he's in real big trouble now. Jumping out here might not even save him, but Falstad's Gust indeed does. Zeratul still gets the kill against Sylvanas. And of course they are hoping to get a little bit more here. Sonya is very isolated and could actually fall victim to that approach. Gets the spear out, but of course here comes ETC waiting for another slide opportunity, which he doesn't get in this case. So with level 13, they have now 7 kills against 1. They're looking pretty good here. And they are going again for the camps, as we have another altar on the map that he could now lock into. 17 stacks on Muradin will soon give him the ability to reduce the cooldown with every single auto attack. Oh, Falstad! Yeah, nailing that escape. That was pretty much frame perfect. Nice juke on his part. Shots are fired and we have now 36 against 28. And on the damage numbers, we got 11,000 hero damage from Muradin of all people. Sylvanas trailing behind Muradin over here. Zul with the top numbers. There's the mosh pit, baby. And a follow-up. ETC is down. The old man also gets murdered. And another kill. Zeratul is dead and the blue team gains momentum. They try to go for Chromie. And she survives, but Anduin dies. And well, Chromie, she's actually not surviving either, is she now? Nope. Chromie goes down as well, and all of a sudden, the blue team with momentum, they definitely cleaned house over here, as you can see. Coming in with a kill against Anduin after they already took out 2, and then following up on Chromie shortly after that as well. Nicely done by them. Easy kills, and that leads also to this one taken on top of it. So yeah, good job by them. Alright, so far, so good. Nicely done. The Chromie kill. That was pretty sweet. Yep, off we go. So let's see what else we're gonna get with this. Top side, what do we have over here? We got currently the altar, the bell tower, still defended. Bottom has been converted. 18 stacks now for Chromie, 19 still for Muradin. Honestly expected him to close that gap a little bit quicker after he initially did a pretty good job at getting the stacks in. But I'm a little bit surprised that nobody on the blue team side is at the bottom right trying to defend this. I mean, of course, they still want to go for the at least one altar top side. But it's a bit of a weird setup to send everybody top. I mean, you don't really need them that far up. Sylvanas is the one now sticking around at the bottom of the map. And with 6 kills to 8, now we have still the lead for the blue team, as they have taken a slight advantage over here. Shots are fired, 5 versus 3, as the altars get exchanged. And in the middle of the map, here comes another attack, as BRB Soaking is saved by the bird. Falstad with a mighty gust here, saving his teammate. 25 against 31, still a lead for Team Hype. But it is of course a concern that the bottom bell tower is now in the control of the blue team. And they are trying for more. Muradin jumping in, hits the Stormbolt. Heavily aggressive. You gotta be a little bit careful at this point. If you follow too far and your opponent just turns and tries to put the fight on you, you can definitely get a bit murdered here. But now with Falstad and his level 1 talent, and of course the help of the rest of the team, they're taking another camp without any problems. There's still one on the left side that they could take if they want to escort some of the pumpkins through. Let's see if they can actually succeed here. Now there's obviously always the chance that you're just simply gusting the opponent away when they're trying to prevent the pumpkins from entering the zone, but since he already used the cooldown, that's not gonna happen. Instead, Sylvanas falls, the blue team losing a hero immediately as the fight starts, and it could also be the demise of Deckard. No, keeps himself alive for a little bit longer. The Stormbolt hits Zeratul, and he got actually zipped back in by Anduin since he blinked away, so that was a bit of a weird one. But we still have ETC falling. Zeratul is on the move, hoping to get Falstad, really trying to find that angle that he can go in for the quick damage. But instead, he might fall here, uses the Gladiator's Medallion and jumps away once more, using his ult on top of it too. Falstad is insanely low, and Zeratul... It's the hunt against Zeratul, and they might get him, the Octa. Oh my god. Yeah, he's trying to be sneaky, but while all of this happened, the recapture of the bell tower has been completed. And down to the bottom of the map, we have one of the 2 altars channeled by Sonya, but she gets interrupted. 4 shots are still being fired against the red team. Zeratul is still sitting tight, and he's like... yeah, they actually find him, and he goes down. Nicely done. It was a bit of an awkward one, but he was trying so hard to escape here. the end of the day, couldn't really make that work. So now as the next few hits keep coming, we still have the one ult at the bottom of the map. And this is the moment where the Shore Buddies can actually turn it around and finally take the lead. Also on the core hit points. With another 4 shots fired, they drop it down to 23 points. That's a nice back and forth that we have actually now. And I gotta admit, of course there's a couple of players that if you are watching Division 1 quite a lot on the blue team that you've definitely seen already. But I gotta say that I had Team Hype pegged as the favorite here. In the early game, they definitely justified that assessment, but right now we see a bit of a different story. The Shore Buddies are reclaiming the bottom right bell tower for the second time now, and are not only a level ahead, despite the fact that they're still behind kills, but are also doing a pretty good job on the core points too. Muradin on the other hand, using the Gladiator's Medallion a little bit early. Chromie coming in again. Yeah, and they're trying to hunt Muradin down, but at least in this case, he might be able to escape. Zeratul has been jumping in a couple of times for extra damage, but it wasn't enough to take the dwarf out. Chromie coming through with a stuck in a loop, and that definitely helped a little bit. But as you can tell, with half a level until level 20, there's still a good chance for the blue team to get far ahead. All the way up at the top. Yeah, there is Sonya in a little bit of trouble. Down at the bottom of the map we saw Anduin die. Sonya then again with a spin to win is trying to keep herself alive here. That didn't work out, and that should be the demise of the top bell tower, which still is kind of powerful since there's at least one mercenary camp pushing through the top lane. But of course it's nothing in comparison to the bot lane where you have 2 pumpkin camps that can be taken, which is exactly what we're seeing here. So they are already getting 1 shot connected, and another 2 come through. Even the kill against ETC here. So this is now 25 points against 20. Level 20 talents in the hands of the blue team. We got first of all Muradin, and there's another 3 shots fired. Muradin with Rewind, Wind Tunnel, and a triple altar on the map. Not really a point where you can win the game, but definitely a moment where you could do a little bit more. This is actually kind of precious. And Zeratul shows himself, gets some damage in, but I don't think he's going to make that move now. Nah, it's a little bit too risky. Would have fallen there for sure. But with Falstad channeling the 3rd altar, you can already see where this is headed. Single digits for Team Hype as they lose out on the objective side pretty significantly. At least they have level 20 talents now as well, and they can reclaim the bottom bell tower. Now, this is of course a situation where the blue team is going to be very interested to at least play around the top for now. But as all of this happens, Muradin still leading in damage. He's sitting at 29,000. So Sylvanas and Falstad, the 2 supposedly main damage dealers, were not really able to keep up with him here. The Dark Wolf doing a lot of work. Yeah, but also, again, the target will have to play around the medallion, maybe. Is hitting another Stormbolt, gets looped back in, and it still did not lead to a kill against him. Chromie has 59,000 damage, Zeratul has 43, but that doesn't mean jack shit if you just can't win the team fights and can't win the game here. So they are struggling, it's 10 kills to 10. And of course now, with the boss still up on the map, this has to be another concern for the 2 teams. With Be Right Back soaking, playing it a little bit safe since he doesn't really know where the opponent is. Has double checked on the boss too. And this is exactly where Zul is now headed. He's moving in, checks the boss, heads top lane. Muradin is anchoring the play on the camp. Sees exactly what's going on here. And Zeratul is still hiding and waiting for someone to fall into the trap and rotate through. Ideally, of course, Falstad himself, who so far has dodged pretty much everything here, especially the time traps. The same is true for Deckard Cain. And a single altar is spawning at the bottom of the map. And the blue team is already getting aggressive with Sylvanas again, starting to push into the bell tower. Yeah, there comes the jump. 5 versus 3 for just a second. Zeratul isn't here yet. Falstad is flying. Falstad is looking for the gust, and he connects it. He gets the gust in against Anduin. Gladiator's Medallion used all over the place, but Chromie is still down, and they're making the play for ETC, who barely is able to slide out. Sonya has already moved back down into this one. Zeratul gets the kill against Falstad, but the shots are still going to be fired, and that is 5 connected, and that brings us down to 4 points on the core, which means that a simple boss connect is now going to win this one for them, if they get to that point. It's a 4 versus 4 now, but once that we have Falstad back, keep in mind that his Wind Tunnel is a perfect tool if you want to control the boss spot. There's a couple of cleanses around. We got the Gladiator's Medallion, so that's definitely helpful. But there's a lot of plays that can now be set up, especially if you're able to grab this one as well. So as it stands, here comes the move again. Ooh, Sylvanas jumping out, but straight into ETC. And that's the end of her. Sylph down, and this could just be the moment where Team Hype makes a bit of a comeback, or at least begins with it. 4 points against 21 doesn't really bode too well for them, but this is Towers of Doom. This is a great map to gain some momentum and carry it into the late game and then turn the game around. I mean, this is pretty much the comeback map in Heroes of the Storm. Shots connected again, with the pumpkins crushing into the bell tower, and this is an important play right now. For Team Hype, it's not really that important to get the 4 points. Obviously, that's fantastic, but it's more important for them to remove the boss as a tool to win the game. So that's why they are but they're actually committing to this the way they do. Now they lose Zeratul, so they still have to win this thing. Zeratul was a little bit too far out, and well, there's game. Shots are fired, and the wind tunnel, as I mentioned earlier, is just the best tool to control the point here. And this is it as the Sure Buddies take the lead in this game. Team Hype gambling a little bit there, and it backfired. They lose it on map number 1, Towers of Doom. Nicely played by the blue team. GG, and well done. Game number 2, ladies. We have our second map, and it is Sky Temple. And it's time for fresh meat. The Butcher in play. If you have Blank against you, then of course you know what's going on. If he gets the Butcher, he plays the Butcher. Usually the hero's banned against Team Hype, but let's find out if the Butcher boys over here can actually win this one. Is he going to be able to make that play? Yes or no? Time will tell. That's not the only hero that we have that is interesting. First of all, let's introduce our lineups. The Sure Buddies with Be Right Back soaking this time on Urel, the Octa on Liming, Jolly the Psych on Deckard Kane again, the Dark Wolf on ETC, and Zero on Vala. And on the right side of the map, Nox on Brightwing. We got Madron on Sylvanas, Halcyon on Johanna, Blank on the Butcher, and Lopaka on Ragnaros. So, we got a Ragnaros as well as a Butcher in this game. Okay. Heavy melee setup. We got a Trashwing over here too, so it's a little bit of a handicap that they put on themselves here. And I understand it. If you give someone like Blank his favorite hero that he excels at, you want to offset it a little bit. So they go for the handicap move, playing Brightwing here and putting the Fruit Fly into action. Interesting setup already for Vala, going for the Khaldor setup. So normally when you have Khaldor as a level 1 talent, one of the main reasons why you do that is because you attempt to play an arrow build. But it's a bit weird in the circumstances that we're seeing here. This is really going to be one of those arrow build setups where you're hoping to complete the Khaldor setup so that you get the cooldown reduction. Then, I mean, I don't know. Like, what's the reason to go into an arrow build over here? One of the reasons is that you have actually a lot of camps available, and one of the camps is a boss camp, so that's what you want to have Monster Hunter for. So I'm a little bit weirded out by that level 1 choice. I don't really think that it's a good choice for the map. I can see certain maps where it might make sense to go for an arrow build and skip Monster Hunter, even though that's always a bit of an ask, but definitely not this one. So I'm a bit curious to see how the build on Vala develops as the game continues. At the same time, we're of course keeping an eye on the Butcher, since Blank is known for his Butcher plays, and right now we have him on level 1 with a chop meat and 23 stacks all the way up at the top. There have been adjustments that have been made for the blue team too, because ETC moved straight in with the block party as his level 1 talent. But yeah, this should be a fairly interesting game, honestly. I'm a little bit curious to see how this one ends up, what exactly they can do with that. As usual, guys, again, if you want to support the stream and also the continued coverage on YouTube with all of the games that we're getting in right now with Division 1, the Taiwan tournament, a couple of other live things, and also North America versus Europe games, you can support the stream on patreon.com/Khaldor. Big shout out to all of the supporters there already, very much so appreciated. And again, it's your support that really helps to also improve the features and all of the things here on the coverage with the Insta replay system, with camera upgrades and all these other things. So a big shout out to everyone, and if you want to support it, check out patreon.com/Khaldor. But with that in mind, we have actually a bit of a different setup. So Vala going into punishment on level 4. Okay, now that level 1 talent makes even less sense. Bit of a strange pick, to be honest. If they are really just taking that to get the additional slow out against the Butcher, but that would be a bit of a weird one. So if you're really looking to control the opponent's team with slows, then Caltrops is usually not the talent that you go for. You can definitely get other heroes that do the job much better, and you're already playing around Urel and ETC plus Deckard Cain, who are very, very good in controlling the movements on the other side. So it's a bit of a wild build that we see so far, and I really want to see what Zero does from here on out. Because if he just sticks with the standard multi-shot build, then it could also technically be a bit of a mispick. But definitely, right now, not really the greatest talent choice over here. When it comes to the Butcher, we got the Unrelenting Pursuit now for Blank. We have also Triumvirate for Li Ming, as the first two temples are on the map, and the red team has already started to take control here in the middle. Interestingly enough, with all the wave clear that Johanna offers, she's the one holding the bot lane for them. Brightwing, normally a hero that you would like to have on the off lane, away from the objective, so that she can use the global to come in, is already in the middle, and Johanna is now making the rotation too. Both teams have their level 7 talents pretty quickly. Butcher was thinking about moving in, decides against it. Level 7 talents are ready, and we got Death Dealer. I honestly think that Vala has been smoking too much glue. I don't really know what's going on over here, but someone is rolling a dice every single time he locks a new talent here. That is a bit of a weird-ass build. I mean, this is as random as it gets. So, not really a fan of that. As a Vala fanboy and former Vala one-trick, that is not what you want to do here. More than strange. Either way, here comes the kill as ETC goes down, and follow-up on Urel. Goat meat and beef now for the Butcher. He's a happy panda. 91 stacks for him already. We're only 4.5 minutes into the game. And with 2 kills against 0, the Sylvanas pressure is now mounting up on the top fort as 2 are still missing. Team Hype is capitalizing on the momentum they just built up and just crushes the top lane structures. Of course, perfect if you want to take one on this map. So yeah, nicely done. Butcher, of course, is still at the bottom of the map trying to get those minion waves and is rotating into the middle now as well. At the same time, we have everybody back to business for the Sure Buddies. So right now they have 5 back up, and the next temple is obviously spawning bot side. They're not too far behind in experience, so they should be able to fight for this one. But level 10 will drop into the hands of Team Hype just a little bit earlier. Might just give them the lead on the temple. Echo Paddle is in, which also means that, in theory, we could see stage dive. Yeah, there's a couple of interrupts, quite a few actually, for the red team. So if ETC wants to go into stage dive, Echo Paddle would help him to get side lane soak, and it would be a counterpoint to the global that is Brightwing. And here come the level 10 abilities, Sulfuras, and bam! The cow is down again. It's a pretty bad thing to play such a beefy hero against the Butcher, because he's looking for that meat, and he's definitely not going to get any chicken in this game. So beef it is, and another kill against ETC grants him also another 20 stacks on his baseline, which is now at 140. And another fort has fallen. They get the kills, they move in for the structures, and they get pretty much all of it. Now at least the level 10 abilities are ready for our team in blue. Vala hasn't really made a choice yet, but okay, heads into her stun. Makes a lot of sense against the Butcher in particular, so that's not too bad. But topside, that's where at least one fort was also taken out. And BRB Soaking is now trying to enhance that push with the camp a little bit further. But in comes the setup at the bottom of the map. And interestingly enough, it's only the red team that has a hero present, but the blue team is already rotating over. So, yep, Halcyon has to move out from this one. Has enough that he can use. Unless, of course, he gets body blocked. And they are really body blocking me right now. Here comes the trade. Uses the Gladiator's Medallion. Still gets body blocked. And is in trouble. And that's the end of Johanna. Completely pushed into a corner here. And nobody on the team helped her out. So that's the end of Jojo. Final blow came from Urel, and that's the end of her. So there we go. All the way up to the middle of the map, the red team is currently starting to slowly rotate in. They're actually waiting and seeing if someone falls into the trap here. They have given up more or less on the temple at this point, realizing they're not going to grab this one. But with 3 kills to 1, we're still a bit early in the game. Again, experience is not really the problem. The problem for the blue team is that they lost this many structures. This is the issue. They've lost the entire outer ring of defense. And here it comes, the flank, the hit. Vala in trouble, trying to get out of here, but they are caught between a rock and a hard place. Ragnaros is moving in, and they are just crushing. And it's just a question of how many will die, not if somebody's gonna die. Decker down, so is Vala, and they're making the play for ETC, and it seems like the Butcher is gonna get his quest completed right here, right now. 200 stacks acquired. At least Ragnaros is traded for it, but that is hashtag worth it, as the Butcher immediately moves to the boss and says like, alright, your ass is mine. No problem for him. Gonna try and solo this over here, as we have the pressure mounting at the bottom of the map with Sylvanas and Brightwing pushing against the structures once again. Top side, the camp has to be defended against 2. That's where Urel comes into play once more, and the Butcher is slowly but steadily starting to take this one down. Needs the Butcher's brand over here to stay in play. Is running out of mana, but again, not a problem for him. Easy solo. Brightwing comes in to help out, but he has to retreat anyways, just the top of mana. But of course, that's an easy boss for them, while they still controlled every single aspect of the game here. And off we go. 2 kills against 6, level 13 talents on both sides, which gives us Gloom at this point. Finally a normal talent choice for Vala. Was already getting a little bit worried over here. Now, if this goes to level 16 for them, then I'm really curious what level 16 is going to be, because it should still... I mean, I guess Manticore still, even with that build, unless... It's an odd one. I mean, I will, at this point, honestly, I will nearly accept everything with the exception of Seething Hatred. So, time will tell. But now that we have double temples activating and they are now trying to put the pressure already onto the bot lane, if they control the bottom temple, this will drop the bot keep. So, yeah, if there's anything to fight over on the next objective phase, it's definitely going to be that bottom temple. Ooh, unfortunate. Brightwing even moving in with the Emerald Twin, making sure that Darkwolf can't follow up on this one. But, of course, the timing on ETC's side was just a little bit off. He was really close of locking this one in and contesting the camp, but it didn't quite work out for them. So, at this point, we got, again, the controller, the fight over the top. Interesting enough, they're letting the bot lane go. I don't really understand that, because that would be the one to eliminate the keep. But they also have a camp moving in, and they're still going for Deckard Cain, and the old man is in trouble, in a lot of trouble, I might add. The Blessed Shield connects with 3, and they're taking Deckard out. Easy kill for them. Urella has moved away from the bottom now too. We have level 16 talents in for Team Hype. They're looking way better in this game than they did on map number 1. There's definitely a chance that we're going to see a third game between the two teams here. With Blood Frenzy coming in for the Butcher. Also a full spec into the Blast Wave with Blast Echo and the Tempered Flame taken on 16 and 13. Bot lane pressure still against the keep. But they are not even going for the objective here. The talent advantage and the numeric advantage that they are running on the map, they are first and foremost focusing on the opponent's camp, stealing it away here, blasting those waves out too, and now the push into the middle again. But as I said before, the real prize is the bottom temple, since it would result in the bot keep being destroyed, and so far they haven't gone for it, but Brightwing is now slowly making her way down. Urel is jumping in and trying to sneak a few more shots away, so that would be nice for her. But let's see if they can actually pull it off. Brightwing is here, and Urel is moving out immediately. A little bit afraid of who else might come in with Brightwing. Shots are getting fired, and this is going to destroy the bottom keep. And guys, honestly, this is also going to take down the keep in the middle. Or at least very likely. There should be enough shots left. It could be close. It's gonna hurt the keep in the middle a lot. And there's still a fight happening over the final few hits in the middle too. So off we go. Here comes the Mosh Pit attempt. Not really all that successful. Sylvanas is still in trouble, but also gets a lot of damage out and is able to take Vala down. The level 16 talent advantage gives a huge lead in this fight over to Team Hype. The Butcher moving in, and bam! Another hit, another kill, and another 10 stacks of meat. He's sitting at 230 stacks already, and he's looking for more. There's the 240 as ETC goes down. Li Ming is jumping away. The keep at the bottom of the map has already fallen for the blue team side, and the one in the middle is obliterated too. The red team on their way to potential victory as they are making their way into the middle of the map right now. Damage output 28,000 for Sylvanas. 20,000 over here. Talking Sylvanas, she is gone. They're making the play for Li Ming, and she gets nearly murdered by Blank's Butcher as he comes in with a couple of heavy hits. And this is looking like it's the end of their game. But the Octa with a kill, and that might just bring it back here. Getting a couple of resets, still low in mana, but could go for another one. Oh, blinks forward, doesn't hit the Calamity damage. Brightwing could still fall. Deckard Kane, he needs glasses. But that's the end. Oh, well, actually, the Fruit Fly, she's going to get away. There's the jump, there's the hit, and that's the end of Brightwing. Brightwing down, 6 kills to 11, 4 down. They go for the 5-man wipe. But Vala gets crushed by Ragnaros. Went for Manticore level 1. The old man hit him with a stick. Hit him with a stick, baby. Oh, old man versus Ragnaros. Sylvanas comes in, doesn't respect the 1v1. And that's the end of Ragnaros. Boss is not up. A little bit unfortunate for them. Or they could have tried to lock that one in. But now we have 12 kills to 7. 43% on the core. And 240 stacks for the Butcher. Okay. Yeah. Down to the bottom of the map now. Irel moves in with Deckard Kane to take the camp. And yeah, it's party time. Boss is up. 35 seconds on Ragnaros. They should probably go for it, honestly. They should take the boss right now. Because once that the red team has level 20 and 5-man on the map, they will go for this one. 100%. So the best thing to do here is to take the boss now. If you don't take it, then once level 20 hits, Team Hype will go for it, or at least try to, and then they can go for core. So, I mean, obviously it's telegraphed. This is a telegraphed move, but you have to make it work. Like, this is the only chance you have. Your opponent might fight for it, but it's the only play that you have at your disposal. So, Urel is already creating a little bit of space. They take the boss, and they might just have the momentum here now. So they could try and test the waters at the bottom of the map a little bit. Problem is that the Butcher is now sitting in the middle. And is Blank going for game? Where's he headed? He's actually waiting this out a little bit while everybody else is pushing. And thanks to Ragnaros, they have, of course, a fantastic tool to defend against the boss push. And hello, team? Blank says fuck it and just moves in. Says like, that core is mine. Li Ming is down. Blank with a perfect ult here ignores Urel. Deckard Kane is down too. He comes in with a stun, with a Butcher's brand. He heals his ass on Urel as much as he can, and he starts to get the core down, but he dies 33% over here. The problem is that the rest of the blue team has gotten their asses kicked at the bottom of the map. 3 are dead, and only Vala is still running away as Urel is trying to hold the core. Problem is the boss is also going to fall before he takes the keep down. Vala is still on the run, and no matter what they do here, that defense is pretty much impossible. Brightwing is jumping in now too, has initially stayed bot lane to save the keep, which she did, but here comes the push straight for Urel. The Space Goat is down and the core is wide open, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is game and brings us a 3rd map in this best of 3 series here in Division 1 of Heroes Lounge. GG, and well done as Team Hype keeps it interesting and forces the 3rd map. The final map! We entomb the Spider Queen, everybody. Team Hype against the Shore Buddies. And, well, they switched sides, by the way, in case that you haven't seen that just yet. But as it stands, we have a tie, and the game is gonna decide which team claims the victory in the best of 3 series. On the left side, Anduin, played by Nox. We got Madron on Sylvanas, Halcyon on Johanna, Klopaka on Chromie, and Blank on Blaze in this game. And on the right side of the map, the Shore Buddies with a Zero on Tracer, Be Right Back Soaking is playing Urel. We got the Octa on Jaina, Jolie the Psyche on Malfurion, and the Dark Wolf on Imperius. And off we go, Jaina combo. Okay, so we got a couple of stuns available for the red team that they can use to set something up for Jaina. Then again, with the Time Walker's Pursuit over here, we have Chromio, of course, with the range damage in play. She can follow up with damage, in particular after Blaze or Johanna, provided the first initial stun. But could be an interesting one here. With this particular setup, there's a lot of interrupts available on both sides. I mean, first of all, you have to try and catch Tracer as she's zipping around here, and she's already annoying Anduin, which is always awesome. Like, I'm a huge fan of annoying Anduin. He's been annoying me for years and years and years, even though I haven't even played World of Warcraft. I mean, just having to endure that trailer where he just like cries like a baby the entire time. For the Alliance! It's like literally just like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, he needs to be slapped around a little bit. But either way, now that Tracer annoys him a bit, I mean, that's what I call justice. The Karma train is coming back and it's starting to tickle Anduin. But of course, Zero is going to be the one to play the linchpin a little bit in this game. Let's see if he can actually do something with this. If he can keep himself safe against the CC that we have. And honestly, that's not all that much. I mean, Tracer should have a pretty solid game here. Either way, jumping a little bit ahead of ourselves, obviously. As I say, Tracer's in trouble, but the heal is ready. Malfurion is obviously still the best healer with Tracer, simply because you can give her the heal over time, which allows a lot more freedom on the hero to really dive into that backline and still stay alive here. Rotation to the bottom of the map in order to get the Siege Giants is already underway, but the damage output all at the top is happening. And there's the combo, and Anduin is down. Oh yeah! The Nick Carter of the Nexus got murdered by Tracer as Zero moved in and got the first blood in this game. So, with our first blood in, we got the 1-2 punch, who also came into play in the last battle, of course. At the bottom of the map with the Siege Giants, there still needs to be a reaction from the red team, so they're trying to do that right now. And are going for Sylvanas, and Sylvanas is already in a world of pain, but this time there's no ult ready for Tracer, so there's not a second kill. The problem is that Blaze is also isolated, and he is trying to get away. The problem is that Blank is literally caught on the wrong side of the map right now. Anduin is attempting to heal, might just be able to make it work, but now that Jaina moves in too, there's no escape any longer for him, and that's the end of it. Should control those gems. It's not a lot of gems, but honestly, at this point, you should probably still try to make sure that nobody grabs them. I mean, what is Anduin gonna do if there's like one hero positioned over here? Nothing. He's not gonna solo into that, so even though it's not a huge amount of gems that were lost there, you should still get it up. Either way, there's of course an advantage now for the red team, as they already have turned in 22 of their gems. They're holding another 25, so they're really close of having enough gems available to get the first turning completed. Blue team is trying to catch up on that, as Halcyon is now turning in his 16. At the bottom of the map, Blank is now playing against Soaking and is still trying to make a setup here. Meantime, of course, the camp has been claimed. And yeah, this is where Sylvanas is all making all the difference. If they can take some structures out, that would be fantastic, and the first tower falls. So the 2 kills against Zero. Also, Malfurion went into Broccoli, so he has now the Vengeful Roots on level 4, and is going to try and accumulate a few stacks over on this one. Tracer, as expected, is still zoning everybody out and trying to also prevent them from turning in additional gems. Both teams have now enough to summon the first Web Weaver wave, so let's see who takes control first. Seems like the red team is very eager to get the first turn in here. Shiro's now turning in another 7. This is bringing the team a little bit closer. Has a locked and loaded now also locked in. Ice Flurs again. A bit of different setup here. And still we need a turn in, especially on the side of the Octa. He alone can finish it. So if Jaina is able to turn in, that's the first Web Weaver wave right there. Already, Sylvanas again jumping away, and they're really starting to be... I honestly feel like the blue team is currently sitting there and is starting to be a little bit more troubled by the fact that they have a tough time locking Tracer down. And again, the body block, the stuns, the follow-up, Anduin barely able to save Blank here, but that could have been a kill against Blaze, and he is of course not going to be part of this fight anymore. Malfurion is also in trouble though, and as the Octa comes in with a slow, Tracer helps out. They together get the kill against Chromie, and they are really taking momentum here. That's 3 kills against 0 now, and I mean, for sure a turn-in if they want it here. Can easily create the space for the Octa to turn in. Even the Dark Wolf is getting rid of his gems, and that's the first Web Weaver wave for the red team, as they are locking this in with a half-level lead. It's not going to lead to a level 10 with a push. Chromie now has, of course, her ult, but this still could hurt a lot. To be fair, though, there is Sylvanas on the other side. There's a lot of wave clear through Blaze, Johanna, and also Sylvanas, so they definitely have some tools available that they can use against the Web Weavers now. And once that the blue team gets their own objective, it's of course always Sylvanas' additional power here. Alright, is that the medallion? No, lets himself get sucked in, and that could actually be a kill. Imperius goes down. Apparently he didn't have the Gladiator's medallion anymore. So Imperius gets eliminated, and the play at the top side now, as the first Web Weaver is down at the bottom of the map. Blank has done a pretty significant job against the third Web Weaver, so the only avenue of attack is in the middle. And yeah, there's not really a whole lot that the red team can do with this. Blue team starts to catch up in experience a little bit more, and this particular Web Weaver wave did definitely not do as much as they were hoping for. Not even a little bit. Imperius. This is the problem when you don't have, during a push, the Gladiator's medallion available. If he had the cooldown ready, still, he could have used that to get away. This way he couldn't, and now it seems like we're going to see Jaina fall too. No, they don't even commit to that. Level 10 is ready for the Sure Buddies, so they didn't want to do that, but that would have been a disaster. Can you imagine Jaina falling here? That would have been 22 gems down the drain. That would have been rough. But now that we have this attack coming in with level 10 abilities available for only one team, they have to be careful, and especially Chromie is in trouble here. But Tracer jumps out. Nice arrow, I like it. Madron with a really good move as he sees the recall coming. But they're not able to get the kill on Tracer. And whoa, what the hell? Now we have Combustion too? Against this lineup? Really? Like, I don't know what they are thinking here, but Jojo is down. There's a lot of gems down the drain. And now Chromie falls as well. Oh my god, it's a disaster. Blank has 30 gems since he was trying to recover them. And he gets away with it. 35 by now. But I gotta say, getting Combustion against this setup? I mean, I've been questioning the build on Vala in the last game a little bit, but now that I see that level 10 choice, I'm just like, what have you been smoking, bro? That is not a good look. You're going up against wombo combos and burst damage on the side of Jaina. You have, in addition to that, the Tracer Bomb that you could negate with this. And you really need to have a little bit more sustain in these fights. So, Combustion? I mean... yeah.
Nope.
I'm going to call a fail on that one. Either way, 5 kills to 1. As they're making their way through the middle. This is the second attempt of the red team to get value out of an objective. And this approach looks a lot more promising. As long as they keep Tracer alive. Which they do. So this would have nearly backfired again. I mean, if they lose again another hero just as the objective touches ground, that would of course have been a problem. But they keep Tracer alive. Now they can push a bit. Top lane also gets attacked here. Could even lead to the annihilation of the fort. Yeah, Dark Wolf. Wow, Malfurion really working overtime to keeping all of these boys and girls alive over here. It's like hurting a bunch of chicken, apparently. But still. 5 kills to 1, level 12. And Sylva's... sorry, Jaina's moving in for a little bit more damage. Of course, they want to have the turn. And look at Blank, he has 45 gems. 45 on him alone. But top fort is now down. It's the first fort to fall. Another ult. And still gets away. Yeah. Has also, of course, the... Divine Steed over here, steaming the way out of trouble. And in the meantime, everybody is ignoring what Jaina is doing. Jaina is just like walking across the map and saying like, hey guys, if you don't give a fuck, I'm just gonna take one structure after another. If you don't care, I'll take that. So she just drops one blizzard after the next and is by now in a position where she not only eliminated the top fort with the help of the Web Weaver, but has pretty much also put the finishing touches to the one in the middle, which can easily be taken as the red team is making a commitment since both of the frontliners of Team Hype are top and bottom. So that fort's down. Team Hype makes some really questionable choices at this point, not only on level 10 for Blaze, but also we were looking at the positioning on the map. Just giving up the mid fort the way that they did, I'm not so sure about this. Now Blaze moved in and turned in the gems so that they get now a Web Weaver wave, but we have also a camp taken away from them. So they are losing ground all over the place. At least they have level 13 talent, so it's even talent fight that we're now going to see. And I guess it comes down to the power of this push. Sylvanas is a bit of a game changer, can be a bit of a game changer. Let's see how the defense is actually shaping up now for the red team. And the Web Weaver at the bottom of the map is definitely not going to do anything. That one gets burned down quickly. The one at the top shouldn't really be able to do a lot to the top fort either. It's going to take a long time for it to arrive there. And by that time, I suppose that we're going to have someone topside dealing with it. And now in the middle of the map, where's the blue team? They're now making their way in, but the Web Weaver has already taken a lot of damage. So this push is so far not really doing a whole lot. They at least break through the wall, so that's the first step. But they need to do a little bit more if they want to get a lot done here. So, yeah, topside. Web Weaver hasn't even arrived there yet. Here comes the next Blizzard, and that burns the objective more or less down. So this fort is safe. At least nice. The setup against Tracer, but it's not enough to grant the kill, even with a Chromie follow-up. Blessed Shield misses completely. Nice dodge there. And, well, there's at least a kill against Ural, so that's a good job. Nicely done also with the silence there. Really good arrow from Sylvanas. That was a fantastic follow-up in ensuring that they would get the kill. Sylvanas is now pushing this with the rest of the team, but topside Jaina is dealing with the next Web Weavers. Blank is a little bit low, but the follow-up kill still comes through. Nicely done. That's the end of Imperius, and so far, so good. 1-4 down. Maybe they can do a little bit more with this now. It's another 29 seconds until Imperius is back. Boss is up. Could go for it. Boss is actually something they could do right now. And they make the move. Yeah, and they want both. They want the objective and they want the boss. So they turn in. Now, of course, it's absolutely visible what's happening here, but I don't really think that the Sure Buddies can do anything about it. But this stuff brings Team Hype back. So they got a couple of kills now, finally. They also get the second objective, and they get the boss together with it. Imperius is just now back, so there's nothing really that the red team can do to contest this. And this is really the situation that could put the blue team back into business. Now, keep in mind that with level 60 now accomplished on the red team side, they have a talent advantage that they can use to defend. And we already see them moving into the middle and down to the bottom of the map as they take the Web Weavers down. And that's pretty smart, actually, because that puts them into a spot where they don't have to worry about the bot in the mid lane, and the top fort is down anyways. If you have Web Weaver plus boss pushing topside, then the fort is a goner, no matter what you do. But now, after defending against the other two Web Weavers, they can, as a 5-man, try to defend the top side and at least keep the keep alive. So that's a pretty nice setup here. And let's see what they can do at this point. They're starting to make their play into this. And off we go. Bam! Double kill. Red team in trouble. Nice. That might be the comeback. 16 is ready for both sides now. And the keep is gonna fall. Really good move from Team Hype. They're trying to go for the Sure Buddies here. And they might just be able to pull this one off. Honestly, they could kind of pull this top forward over the core. This is looking great for them. They got the boss up. It's 13 minutes into the game, but yep, here we go. This is the chance. This is the opportunity. The stun, the kill. Oh, that's a staggered death. And Soaking is also low. Wow, this game flipped quickly. What a change. All of a sudden, it is Team High barreling down the top lane, going for the core, and about to end the game here. It looked like a fantastic opening for the Sure Buddies, but there's the comeback moment for Team Hype. They take the series, a 2-1 victory against their opponent here. Fantastic push at the top side. They got one chance, one opportunity, and then Mom Spaghetti style, they went through the top lane, took down Fort, Keep, and Core, and decide the best of 3 in their favor. GG, and well played.